Guys, welcome back to HPL. We saw Kranich queue up Shaman again in game one, but it was no match for the Grim Patron Warrior from Powder, who likes to play those power strategies.
Yeah, you saw him just absolutely decimate him with a huge turn 4 and 5 there, making just a ton of minions. Everyone got in there and just took the game down really, really quickly. Now, as we said, we fully expect Kranich to come to more of a power strategy here in games 2, 3, and 4, like he did yesterday. And you know what? If he gets to that, I saw him play very, very well in those games, and I've got to believe he's got a good chance of bringing out getting this match win from this 0-1 deficit.
Yeah, I would really like to see him be a little bit more aggressive in his gameplay. Again, Powder, not the kind of guy that you can study very well. Very wide range of powerful strategies that are out there right now that he can use to punish his opponents. So we're going to get into game 2 right now. These players are ready. They've made some changes to their decks. We don't know. Game 2, Kranich versus Powder.
Yeah, Kranich is down 0-1 here, so he's looking to get on the board here, not just in this match, but he needs to get a win here to get on the board in HPL. He's already 0-1 here. He doesn't want to fall to 0-2 in week 1. That's not how you want to get your tournament started.
Yeah, look at this queued up Handlock. Handlock was one of the decks that I think he performed best with yesterday. Gave him a lot of options, and he knew exactly what to do going into it. But Powder is playing a Paladin deck, and we see Divine Favor and Hammer of Wrath in this opening deck. I have to believe that this is oriented at being a little bit more aggressive. And once again, really kind of getting the better here. Kranich, Divine Favor is an excellent card versus Handlock.
Yeah, this just has to be Rush Paladin, and Divine Favor is going to be a great one in this matchup. He's going to draw a ton of cards off of it, and I wouldn't be surprised if he actually just kept it in his opening hand.
Yeah,
it looks like he mulliganed trying to find some extra 1 and 2 drops.
That's a South Sea deck hand.
That is actually, yes, that is a South Sea deck hand. Yeah, so the cat's out of the bag immediately here when he plays a South Sea deck hand on turn 1. Kranich just has to know what's going on, but you know what? That's going to go right into this Mortal Coil from Kranich here. Couldn't ask for a better card here turn 1.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best answers you can get to a turn 1. But there's going to be no shortage of minions coming out here from Powder. Chooses to use Argent Squire instead of just hero powering again, maybe wanting to play around a second Mortal Coil. Also keep his hand size under control in case he draws something like Divine Favor. We'll get some extra cards out of it. But look at Kranich's hand. He's got Twilight Drake available, as well as 2 Molten Giants for when his life total starts getting low.
Yeah, his hand is great in this matchup. He's going to be able to do exactly what he wants to do here. The only thing he's kind of missing right now is an AoE effect to take care of all these 1/1s on Powder's side. But I like Powder playing the card actually out of his hand there on turn 2 instead of hero powering, like you said, because you have Divine Favor in your deck.
Yeah, something else that we're seeing interesting from Kranich is he continues to add his own little twist to things. Power Overwhelming was a card that was traditionally played in Handlock back when you had Leroy Jenkins and Faceless Manipulator as your big burst combos. But since that Leroy Jenkins changed to his mana cost, you haven't seen that. That is a King Mukla.
Speaking of a little flare in a deck.
Yeah, so Aaron McGowl going to be able to check this Twilight Drake. So, you know, a super key card there from Powder. Going to clean this up. I imagine he's going to be using his life total for this. Yep, his life total is very much a resource in this matchup. The fact that he's taking this blowback, Handlock doesn't apply a lot of consistent pressure to you. It's looking for bigger damage spikes. Should they get to those damage spikes, they're typically going to get them no matter what. Kranich still has a Faceless Manipulator in this deck with that Power Overwhelming. I have to believe that means Arcane Golem.
Yeah, it definitely probably means Arcane Golem. I don't know if we're going to see Leroy Jenkins in HPL this season. I'm hoping for it. I have my fingers crossed. I want to see it happen. But yeah, this is a very interesting build from Kranich. What? I just put my hands in the air, guys. I am super excited. There is a Leroy Jenkins in Kranich's hand. I can't wait to have this interplay.
All right, so the way he wants to utilize this combo is he wants to have these cards in his hand and get Emperor Thaurissan on the board, get that activation out of it, and then go Leroy Jenkins, Power Overwhelming, and Faceless Manipulator. That's the combo he's looking for, and in the meantime, he's going to look like a traditional Handlock deck. So if Powder can get caught off guard by that, that's where Kranich is looking to pick up his win. But in the meantime, he's got to find a way to control this board, and he has no AoE to handle what's going on right now.
Yeah, he really needs a Hellfire or Shadow Flame really, really soon. At least he does have, good for him, he does have a Sludge Belcher for next turn, which should help stem some of the bleeding. But you're going to see Kranich actually Dark Bomb a creature. Now, it may look weird that he's Dark Bombing a 1/1 over the Iron Beak Owl, but he's probably playing around a Quartermaster.
Yeah, that's certainly what he's playing around. I think at the point where your opponent's been this aggressive, that a Quartermaster is an absolutely daunting minion to have to stare down at this point. And so pretty easy stuff here for Powder. Just going to make sure that he puts his opponent at the exact life total he wants. Should he forego any attacks here, those are intentional attacks that he's choosing to not take. He doesn't want to put his opponent in the range of a Molten Giant and be able to completely swing the board out of control. So 14 is the perfect life total for that. Kranich cannot play a Molten Giant and taunt it up, but he's under a ton of pressure right now.
Yeah,
look at that, those 2 bananas.
is actually going to kill a card here, man. This matchup is bananas.
Sludge Belcher or Antique Healbot, both possible plays here, but you know, he could play a Molten Giant, but he needs bigger swings out of those, and he doesn't even have a way to taunt up right now. So the fact that just the way that he's drawn this hand in order, this is something else that you'll see from these bigger combo bursts sometimes, is that they take away from some of the key cards that are in your deck to keep a defensive measure.
Yeah, you're seeing him draw the pieces of the combo early instead of late like he wants to when he's actually ready to kill you. But he doesn't have the cards that get him to that point yet. He needs Shadow Flame, he needs Hellfires to make sure that he can control the board and get to the point where he can cast huge Molten Giants, huge Mountain Giants early, and then, you know, maybe combo him out with Leroy Jenkins. I didn't think I was going to be saying that anytime soon at HPL.
You can see he even thought about using Leroy Jenkins this turn. Powder wouldn't get any whelps from that because his board's full, and if he played that Leroy Jenkins, obviously he's got his sights set on King Mukla.
It's too bad we don't have an active camera on Powder here. I would love to see his face when Leroy Jenkins hit play here. I think if it was reversed, if Kranich was the one getting Leroy, and he's like, yeah, of course you have a Leroy here, but yeah, I think Powder would be a little surprised.
I think Kranich would be excited to see Leroy Jenkins. He's shown some
you might clap a little bit.
He's shown some like real flair in these matches. He's trying to play very off-the-wall cards and trying to catch his opponent's strategy at a certain position. So if he wants to use his Iron Beak Owl, he's got to sacrifice one of his minions. The big key here is that he doesn't have enough damage to make the big push that he wants to make. So this is one of those spots, again, where he didn't want to put Kranich too low to avoid any kind of Molten Giant shenanigans that were going on. But this might be a scenario where he's got such a big board that he feels comfortable pushing.
Yeah, I think he's going to feel comfortable pushing here. You have to believe that he has a quality in this deck as well, and he already has concentration. So if a huge turn comes out of Kranich where he taunts up a bunch of 8/8s, he does have outs for it in his deck.
Is that actually just lethal? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's actually lethal with that Consecrate. I counted.
Yeah, I thought he was one off.
Yeah, I thought he was one off too for some reason, but that's going to do it. Powder, again, putting his opponent at the exact life total he needed to in order to close that game out. The second Iron Beak Owl, such a key card there.
Yeah, that was a huge top deck from Powder there. Just the exact card he needed in the spot to get the exact amount of damage to kill Kranich. So you see Kranich go to a power strategy here in game 2 in Handlock, but with his own little bit of flair in it. You see Kranich go to his own kind of off-the-wall deck here that you don't see all the time and rush Paladin, and he gets the win here.
Yeah, Powder playing, again, just power strategies is what that he likes to play. If he's playing that deck, he believes it's going to be the best against what Kranich is going to throw at him. Not necessarily trying to pinpoint anything, just wants to have a lot of adequate pressure coupled with some utility cards to make sure he can get the job done. So I don't know exactly what Kranich would have cut from Handlock to fit these cards in, but I have to believe that they're utility cards that he could have used in that game.
Yeah, he definitely needed some of the utility cards. As we said, he needed some kind of AoE effect. He needed to be able to control the board. He just never found any of it, and he was always behind, and his Sludge Belchers were taken care of by an Iron Beak Owl, so he was never able to get that iron grip on the game that he needed to with his Handlock deck.
Yeah, not able to kill nearly enough minions that he needs to. Again, control decks, those are the kinds of decks that want to kill a ton of minions to make sure they get to those late game scenarios. They can continue to keep their mana utilization high while aggressive strategies will fall off in that late game, but none of it was found here. So Kranich going to have to go back to the drawing board. He finds himself down 2-0 versus Powder. Is Powder going to take another 3-0 here, or can Kranich bounce back and get 3 straight wins to pick up this match? Guys, when we come back, match point for Powder, and Kranich is looking to turn things around. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.